Welcome back.
Hey, Stanley.
Yeah, George?
How'd you like your own TV show?
Hey, I got something to mail you out.
Oh, you be careful now, you hear? Before you go and say something you're going to regret for the rest of your days.
Like what? Like the wrong kid died?
Oh, no!
Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of The Wrong Podcast Died. I'm Brian.
And I'm Rod.
And we have so much to talk about for this film. We're getting straight to synopsis. March 31st, 1989, Heathers.
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Hey, said I, whatever will be, will be.
A sharp, dark, satirical comedy about Veronica Sawyer, a high schooler trying to survive the tyrannical reign of the popular clique known as the Heathers, which is weird because she's part of the Heathers.
Yeah, but she's not a Heather.
But she's not a Heather. When she falls for a rebellious sociopath newcomer JD. Now, this synopsis says they accidentally begin murdering the school's most popular students and make it look like suicide. But it'd been a while since I'd seen this. These are not accidents.
Well, one side is definitely not an accident. She may not have seen it that way, but he definitely was all in to kill some people. But yeah, let me give a rundown. So rated R, which is crazy for a teenage dark comedy. It had an hour and 43-minute runtime, budget of $3 million, but did not make that back. Grossed only worldwide $1.2 million from what I found, a little under there, I think it was. So the cast here, even the director, Michael Lehman, it was his directorial debut. Besides, he had a short film called The Beaver Gets a Boner, but he actually did some movies and TV shows that I really liked. He did Hudson Hawk that had Bruce Willis. He did a few episodes of Dexter, American Horror Story even too. So I mean, he had a pretty good pedigree, but the cast on this, top billing here is Winona Ryder as Veronica Sawyer. We know her from Beetlejuice, Stranger Things, Edward Scissorhands that we covered in episode 6 of The Wrong Podcast Died. I mean, she's been in a lot of stuff. Christian Slater, who played Jason Dean, aka JD. Now, this is a guy that is kind of sentimental for both of us in a sense because of a friend of ours, Andy Wassam, who on AOTKP would do a segment called
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to another episode of Recasting with Christian Slater.
And he would do Christian Slater's voice. And Brian, you've said it. Go ahead.
The whole damn movie, all I heard was and seen was Andy. Anytime Christian Slater would talk, when he says that famous line, greetings and salutations, all I could see was Andy's face. And I'm like, I just closed my eyes every time I knew he was going to talk just so I could hear Andy and see Andy.
Yep. But Christian Slater's even has this bit of a horror pedigree. He's got Alone in the Dark. He was in Hollow Man 2, Hard Rain. The big one was Interview with the Vampire with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. He had a small part, but he was in that. Then we had the biggest bitch in this whole fucking movie, Kim Walker as Heather Chandler. She was in a movie we also covered along with another cast member here, Say Anything. This one kind of has a sad story though with hers, that because she died on March 6th of 2001 from a brain tumor, which ironically there's a quote in this movie.
Did you have a brain tumor for breakfast? First you ask if you can be red, knowing that I'm always red.
She says that to Heather Duke, and it was like, whoa, dark foreshadowing here. Then you had Shannon Doherty as Heather Duke. She was huge. Beverly Hills 90210. She did Charmed, the TV series, like 4 seasons, I believe. Mallrats with Kevin Smith. And then there was this Heather's TV show that she did a few episodes for. It only lasted a season. The other cast member who was also in Say Anything that we covered on episode 28 of The Wrong Podcast Died was Lisa Ann Falk as Heather McNamara. She didn't do a whole lot other than that. But here's Here's some of the hidden gems now. Lance Fenton, who played Kurt Kelly, one of the jocks that always picked on everyone. He was in Night of the Demons. He was the douchey boyfriend, and then he's the one that got his eyes poked out by Linnea Quigley's character. Patrick Leberteau as Ram Sweeney, the other douchebag, he was in a lot of stuff too. Three Ninjas, Summer School, and then the best Ghoulies ever, Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go to College. I mean, who's going to dispute that? And then there's some weird things here. Renee Estevez as Betty Finn, who was the friend, the nerdy friend of Winona. She's the sister of Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen. She has a horror pedigree herself. Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. She was in Intruder in 1989 that had Sam Raimi and Ted Raimi in it. And then she had a minor role in Single White Female as like the perfect applicant or something like that. So we've covered a movie with her in it. There's the mom of Veronica, Jennifer Rhodes. She was in Charmed also with Shannon Doherty as Grams. She was in Night Creature from 1978. She was in the Halloween movie from 1978 too. And she was uncredited as the psych ward nurse. It must have been a tiny, tiny role.
Is that the one that they pull out of the car, maybe?
No, because that's somebody else. So I don't know where she was exactly, but she was also in Slumber Party Massacre 2. She was the mom in that. And then Night of the Demons 2, she was the nun in that always said, like,
save a little room for the Holy Ghost.
And then the last person I'll mention is just Larry Cox, who was the fraternity college douchey dude that slept with Heather Chandler or got a BJ from her. And he was in Friday the 13th, The New Blood. He was the douchey boyfriend that was kind of running the party with his friend or something. Yeah, there's a huge freaking pedigree of horror actors in this.
Well, and then you get the preacher who is the friend in Beetlejuice. What's he like? Is he like a paranormal something?
Yeah,
like,
you know
what
like
I mean?
Paranormal. I think he tries to debunk things in Beetlejuice.
And so you know him right off the bat. You've seen him in Beetlejuice and a ton of other stuff. But I think we were talking about this before recording the day before, and I was telling you how I feel like this film lines up perfectly with Crybaby and Serial Mom. I could see this being a John Waters film from that time period. I think Crybaby and Serial Mom are both around this time, right?
Yeah, pretty close. Crybaby was like 1990, I think it was. So not very far off. Yeah, some of these movies are getting pretty close together right now. Because Say Anything came out the month after this movie.
Really?
Yeah, in April.
That movie feels older than this film.
Mm-hmm. This is very well written. The lines in this movie, most people don't know this movie for whatever reason, but I find these lines very clever. Did you say you had a favorite quote in this movie?
It was the brain tumor one.
I'm sorry, I gave your quote away. Yeah, mine.
It was about the chainsaw.
Yeah, so Heather Chandler.
Fuck me gently with the chainsaw. Do I look like Mother Teresa? If I did, I probably wouldn't mind talking to the Geek Squad.
Now, this one's a favorite of mine because there's a friend of mine whose name is also Heather, and I very rarely have heard her swear. And she talked about liking this movie years ago. I go, "You've never seen that movie?" And she goes, "Fuck me gently with a chainsaw." And I was like, "Okay, yes, you have." But yeah, that's one of my favorite lines. But so many lines in this. Like nowadays, kids love to say low key. And it fucking annoys me. It's like low key this, low key that, high key this, high key that. But it was used in this fucking movie back in 1988, released in 89. It was a Heather Chandler quote because she has all the great lines, really.
I need you to forge a hot and horny but realistically low-key note in Kurt's handwriting, and we'll slip it onto Martha Dumptruck's lunch tray.
One of my other favorites is when they kill the first Heather. Veronica says,
"I can't believe it. I just killed my best friend.
And your worst enemy.
Same difference."
She meets this guy. She's not a Heather. Veronica's, I guess, our hero, per se.
Dark hero.
Yeah. Kind of like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Yeah.
If we're doing wrestling.
Yeah, the anti-hero kind of.
Yeah, the anti-hero. She is part of the Heathers. By association, she's asked to be part. Here's one of my flaws with this film. There was the same flaw we had with Clueless. These are all rich kids. Most people aren't going to know how to connect with them other than the fact that Veronica and JD are killing the bullies. But at the same time, they're the rich kids.
Even JD.
Yeah, JD's rich. How do you connect with them when they're rich other than the fact that they're getting revenge on the kids that are bullying everybody else?
We're also talking about how we liked a lot of the dialogue, but a lot of it I've never heard of in the 80s or 90s even.
Yeah, this feels like Say Anything should be 1982 or 83, and Heathers should be 1995 or 96. Like, they're opposite ends of that spectrum, but you kind of got that mashup in the late 80s where some movies went older, some movies try to be newer. This definitely does not have a 1989 feel to me.
Very progressive, like it was ahead of its time.
And that's probably one of the reasons it didn't do very well. It's gained cult status, like very deep cult status. This has a release on Arrow. I own a copy. I own 2 or 3 copies, I think, because you pick it up when you find it. I mean, I grabbed a copy for $4 in Chicago at Flashback from Arrow. This is about as cult as you can get as far as films.
Yeah, I've got an old, probably original DVD release.
But man, this is so ahead of its time. It's Clueless if it was made by John Waters.
Yeah.
Right?
Because of that dirty, gritty, dark comedy.
Yeah, and at times I feel like I'm watching the Donnie Darko.
Oh, Donnie Darko, yeah.
This is like Donnie Darko mixed with Clueless. Just because at times you're thinking, is this really happening? Are they really doing this? Are they really getting away with it?
Well, yeah, I mean, before the murders, I mean, back to where Heather is trying to talk Veronica into slipping that note on there, and Veronica says,
Shit, Heather, I don't have anything against Martha Dunstock.
You don't have anything for her either. Come on, it'll be very. The note will give her shower nozzle masturbation material for weeks.
Where do they get this? And what kids ever said that?
I don't know. I wasn't in high school in the late 80s. I didn't get into high school until the mid 90s. So maybe I missed out on shower nozzle masturbation. I don't know. Yeah, just Finley wanted to watch this. She was in the room for like 5 minutes of it. And then it was bedtime and I had it up loud because I was trying to listen to it and pay attention. And weirdly, I like to have the closed captions on.
Yeah.
But the closed captions were a minute ahead of the movie. So I was reading, I was like, that's not what she's saying. So I turned the closed captions off and turned the movie up. And I look in the other room and you could see Finley like cranking her neck, trying to see the TV to see what's going on. So there's no nudity. There is some violence, but very little. Weirdly, with all the people that are dying, only 3 people die, right? 4 if you count the
4 with counting JD.
Only 3 people commit suicide. And then the one girl tries to commit suicide. She throws herself in front of a car, but she lives.
Yeah, Martha. It's a good thing she lived, though.
Yeah, a lot of it is just this teen angst bullshit is what she says at one point.
So it was like the Heathers group. Everyone looks up to them. But in reality, they're the biggest bitches ever in cinema history.
And everybody hates them at the same time.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So these 3 girls plus Veronica go around at lunchtime asking people these questions just to, I don't know, to make people feel important or what, but the question they ask is,
Now check this out. You win $5 million from the Pulitzer sweepstakes. And the same day that Big Ed guy gives you the check, aliens land on the Earth and say they're going to blow up the world in 2 days. What do you do?
And people give the stupidest fucking answers ever. Like,
that's easy. I just slide that wad over to my father. Because he is like one of the top brokers in the state.
The one guy says,
I pay him down $1 million to sit on my face and have a ride like the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, and you're like, oh my God. I think Christian Slater's answer was like something.
I don't know, probably row out to the middle of a lake somewhere, bring along a bottle of tequila, my sax, and some Bach.
How very.
You're just like every other guy in that school trying to get into Veronica's pants, just like every guy's trying to get into the Heather's pants and every other girl's pants in high school.
And it's just crazy. I mean, it goes from there. And then when they finally kill Heather Chandler with a freaking cleaner, like she's stupid.
What did you do, put a phlegm globber in it or something? I'm not going to drink that piss.
I knew this stuff would be too intense for her.
Intense. Grow up. You think I'll drink it just because you call me chicken? Just give me the cup, jerk.
And she does it, and she dies like almost instantly. It's weird, but then they leave this note, and that's what makes the whole school go crazy. Yep. It's like, oh, she was so smart and such a beautiful soul, and I praise her for committing suicide. It's like, who was it? I think it might have been a teacher that says whether to kill yourself or not is one of the most important decisions a teenager can make. What the fuck, people? Come on.
You want to watch it again, don't you?
Yeah, I watched it twice. I mean, I'll probably watch it again. But yeah, fuck me gently with the chainsaw, people.
When the police find the two athletes, the quarterback and the linebacker that they've killed, but they make it look like a double suicide because they were gay and in love.
Yeah.
The police officer pulls out and is like, they were gay. And he's like, how do you know? Mineral water. Oh my God. It's like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? Like, what the hell?
I mean, it just kind of goes on there. Like, Heather Chandler dies, and then the jocks start picking on people more, even though you think they're going to get a conscience at the funeral. But no, they're fucking little douchebags. Then they take Veronica and Heather McNamara on a date, and one tries to, well, basically rape Heather McNamara.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's what Veronica says. I'm watching my friend get raped before my eyes. And then JD shows up. But then they decide to kill those two to get revenge because they started fucking rumors. Those two jocks put out rumors about Veronica. So, I mean, it just kind of goes on like this. And then JD gives out his master plan, which is he's going to blow the fucking school up.
Kill everybody.
Yeah. And everyone's going to be a hero because they're all committing suicide because he has them sign this stupid thing. He keeps telling people different things of what it says.
Yeah, and there's a point where Veronica's conscience really kicks in, and it's at the funeral for Kurt and the other kid. Kurt's dad says,
my son's a homosexual, and I love him. I love my dead gay son.
And JD says,
how do you think he'd react to his son that had a limp wrist with a pulse?
And must be Kurt's sister looks back, and she's covered in tears. And that's Veronica's light bulb moment of, I'm not doing the right thing. As bad as these people are, they don't deserve to die. But JD does not see it that way. I think what happened is his father killed his mother in a bomb blast on purpose, or she committed suicide herself. So that's why he wants everybody to die and be in pain like he is.
And I could kind of see some of his anger too, because his father's a douchebag.
Yeah.
And they play this game with each other where his father pretends to be the son and JD has to pretend to be the father with their speech. And it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. And she says at one point,
suicide gave Heather depth, Kurt a soul, Ram a brain. I don't know what it's given me, but I've got no control over myself when I'm with JD. Are we going to prom or to hell?
So she never makes it to prom. She does make it to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end, when the other Heather that's played by Shannon Doherty kind of takes over, JD's master plan is to put her in power. And at the end, spoiler alert, JD commits suicide. He blows himself up outside the school.
Yeah, because she won't allow him to blow up the school, basically.
Heather goes back in the school because she stood there and watched him. She looks like she's blown up. And Heather says, you look like hell. And she says, yeah, I just got back from there. I think she's already smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
And just goes ask the girl that stood in front of the car if she wants to get a movie and some popcorn and skip prom.
Yep.
This is probably one of the funnest movies we've watched, and we've watched some fun ones, but this is one of the funnest we've watched in a long time.
And we both got to see this. I know I've seen it before, and I'm sure you have, but Joe Bob on the last drive-in showed it once.
Yeah.
And it's fun, some of the stuff he came up with too. But yeah, this is crazy. And then they used Que Sera, but they couldn't use the original singer in this because they would have got sued. So they used somebody, Sid Straw, and then a version by Sly and the Family Stone at the end.
Here's what she said to me.
Yeah, that's who sings that last one.
If we wanted to do a little trivia and then rate it.
I got some trivia here, but if you got something, go first.
Yeah, I think the only thing, two things, they originally wanted Jennifer Connelly to play the role as Veronica, but Winona Ryder kept showing up to auditions, looking glum and desperate, and just kept fighting for the part. So eventually, I think the smart move they did, and they gave it to her. And then the suicide note and the slushy scene, the studio did not like it. They worried it was too dark. They're like, this is too dark. It's going to alienate audiences, which it did for the late 80s. It was a very dark film, even though it's darkly comedic. Maybe it's more comedic now for us that everything's so damn serious. This film's kind of lighthearted.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, Clueless came after this, and it had to take in some inspiration for something like this because it's just that hierarchy of kids in school where there's the popular girls and everybody wants to be them, but everyone hates them.
And then the recommendations, we'll get to a couple movies that came out around the same time and a little after that must have drawn inspiration from this.
And then some things I found, like Shannon Doherty, which I would never have thought this because I've heard all these bad things about her throughout the years. She came up as a very conservative upbringing, but she couldn't keep a straight face as she was like doing some of her lines.
Veronica, why are you pulling my dick?
She would smirk every time she would say that. So a little unusual, but this is like one of her first roles. So, and then Christian Slater. Now, I don't know if you've heard this rumor too. I don't remember if Joe Bob mentioned this, but he took heavily from Jack Nicholson. He tried to be Jack Nicholson in a lot of this, and it just continues on several of his movies where he talks like this. But thank God he did, because Andy Wassum put out an awesome segment on that. And then the role for Heather McNamara was actually originally offered to Heather Graham, but she was 17 years old and her parents refused to let her do this, which I don't even know what Heather Graham did like right after this. The only thing I remember her earliest work would have been Boogie Nights, and that was like mid-90s, but I'm sure she did some other things.
So they wouldn't let her do this film, but then she did Boogie Nights.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she's probably an adult by then.
Well, yeah, but still, like,
yeah,
I'll show them.
And despite the producers and the director and everybody wanting a young cast, because a lot of them are very young, the girl who actually got the role of Heather McNamara, Lisa Ann Falk, she lied about her age. She claimed to be 18, but she was actually 23. So she was the oldest in that group pretty much.
Yeah, she doesn't look any older than any of the others.
There's a few things, like some of the other people that were up for JD's role, Jim Carrey, Judd Nelson, Jason Bateman. I could not see this movie with any of those three. I couldn't imagine this movie having anyone but Christian Slater in it. I don't know, man. This was a fun movie. So you want to go into ratings?
Yeah, let's rate it, and then we'll get some physical media and some recommendations. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
I'm going to go 4.8 out of 5. I love my dead gay son. They weren't really gay. That's how they...
Yeah, maybe they were, though.
Maybe, but that's how they framed the suicide.
Yeah.
Everybody ran with it. Football season's over.
Yep.
What about you?
I give this a 4.5 out of 5 varies, because this movie was very. I have no clue what that fucking means, but it was very.
It was very, 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 very.
Yeah. It's a movie that I may not watch like next week, but in a few months, I'll probably turn it on again. It's one that I kind of want to introduce to other people that haven't seen it, because it's a great dark comedy and everyone should see it.
Let's do some physical media releases. It had a VHS and Laserdisc in late 1989 by New World Video. Its DVD debut was in September of 2001, so about 2 years later, from Anchor Bay Entertainment. And it's had a Blu-ray release by Arrow Video, and that was November of 2018. And I don't know if it's had any releases since then. Let's see. I have it on Arrow here. Picked this up in flashback. You can't see it, but this is the Region B. Yeah, 2002 is when this one says. So maybe they re-released it, but not much for physical media.
You think Arrow would get the rights back and maybe do one of their big boutiques?
Yeah, this is just the generic Blu-ray. I think I have the other Blu-ray over there, maybe still sealed, but for $4, you can't pass up a Arrow video copy of pretty much anything.
Yep.
Does it have an American Blu-ray release?
I don't think so. I've never come across anything.
Well, if you go to Amazon, you can grab the Blu-ray 4K HD from Arrow for $32, or the special edition, I don't know who put this out, DVD, maybe Blu-ray, because it says multi-format, for $48.95. Lord have mercy.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple other Blu-rays, but yeah, I don't see anything. There's a Heather's the musical. Did you know about that?
Yeah, there was a musical, but it never made it to Broadway or anything.
So you can grab a copy of that on Blu-ray for $40. But yeah, no, like legit American release other than Arrow, which they have the rights to some American stuff. They have an American website now,
So yeah, if somebody, Vinegar Syndrome, Severin, I want some old footage of interviews with the cast.
Well, shoot. Let's see what's on their 4K Ultra HD. Oh, this one says The Breakfast Club meets Blue Velvet.
Kind of, yeah.
It doesn't really say what's on there. Must be a lot of the same stuff. Special edition contents are half the back. 4K scan, high definition, original English subtitles, audio commentary from the director, producer, and writer, a newly filmed interview with the director, the art and design of Heathers, how very. Poor Little Heather, a new interview with Lisa Ann Falk, interview with screenwriters. Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, the DVD version I have actually has a little documentary called Swatch Dogs.
Oh, The Beaver Gets a Boner, Michael Lehman's student film from 1985. Original trailers. Yeah.
Oh, it's on there, huh?
Yep, it's on there.
Yeah, the Swatch Dogs and Diet Coke Heads. That's the documentary on my DVD. And that actually talked about the Beaver movie that he did too a little bit. But other than that, not a whole lot on here either. I mean, this was early 2000s, so when this DVD even would have came out.
We've babbled long enough about the movie. Let's get some recommendations in.
This or that, this or that, this or that, this or that. It takes two to make a thing go right. It takes two to make it out of sight.
So I have 6 films that if you liked Heathers, you may like these. These are dark high school comedies, most of them. Another film I was surprised came out in 1999, Jawbreaker.
Oh, yeah.
A dark teen comedy where 3 popular girls accidentally kill their best friend with a jawbreaker during a birthday prank. From 1999, another one, But I'm a Cheerleader. This is one I've heard so much about that I need to watch. A stylized satirical comedy about a teenager sent to a residential conversion therapy camp.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of it a lot. I think it's very influential in the LGBTQ plus community. I think it's like getting a lot of people in that community love that film, and I need to see this film. This one was earlier, from 1996, The Craft. 4 outcast high school girls discover witchcraft and use their new powers to punish their high school tormentors. Another one from 1999, Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. A pitch black mockumentary featuring a fiercely competitive, chaotic local teenage beauty pageant. This one's another one that I've heard of, but I've never seen it. World's Greatest Dad.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's from 2009. A struggling high school poetry teacher accidentally covers up his son's bizarre accidental death with a fake suicide note that goes viral. And then my last one from 2004. The people that wrote this, unless it was already done, watched Heathers, loved Heathers, Mean Girls. A homeschooled girl infiltrates the ultra-exclusive clique of a suburban high school, unleashing petty social warfare. Any of those you like?
Jawbreakers, yeah, definitely. That's a fun one.
Yeah. Some stuff weirdly from that same time period that does not feel like it fits. Does Jawbreaker feel like it fits in the late, I guess that's late 90s. This was late 80s.
I feel like Jawbreakers, though, almost felt like early 90s.
All of these films could be influenced by Heathers in 1989 because they're all 10 to 15 years later, except for The Craft is like 7 years later. So all influenced by Heathers?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what else feels like 1989?
Or that was influenced about a film about girls named Heather that are in a clique?
Yeah, our podcast network, the PFPN. God, these guys are going to hate us. Let's hear from them.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
So now that we've heard from our podcast network, it's time for the news.
Yeah, and on March 2nd, and then later on in that month, March 24th, Exxon just liked to fucking spill oil. Because on the 2nd, the Exxon tanker Houston runs aground in Hawaii and spills 117,000 gallons of oil. And then one that it was very well known because it was all over the news when we were kids. On the 24th, the Exxon tanker Valdez spills 10.8 million gallons of crude oil in Prince William Sound near Alaska. That was a huge one, I remember.
That's too much damn oil.
Yeah, it's way too much damn oil to have on one tanker too. Like, I'm not sure what these tankers hold generally, but
that's how much oil they need to cook all your tacos for dinner, right? Your French fries.
And one of the other stories that was kind of big in it, the economy in Chile suffered because of this. On March 2nd of 89, an anonymous caller warns the U.S. Embassy in Santiago, Chile, that fruit bound for the U.S. is poisoned. So I don't think they took it serious. Then there was another call around March 12th to the 13th. FDA finally gets into this. An inspector from there goes to Philadelphia and finds 2 cyanide-laced grapes in a shipment from Chile. But there was little cyanide present in this. What I found the measurement was 0.51 ppm, and I'm not 100% sure what that ppm stood for. But so it wasn't very much. But here's the issue with fruit, and if it was laced with cyanide, is that by the time it traveled from Chile to the U.S., a lot of that would have been like not evaporated, but the acids and everything in fruit would have absorbed that and destroyed that cyanide. It's kind of weird, but the FDA also on the 13th issues a public warning advising consumers to destroy or throw away any Chilean fruit in their possession. And then on the 17th, the temporary import ban is lifted for cleared fruit subjected to intensified port inspection. So everywhere, every like country that was getting fruit from Chile was inspecting their fruit like crazy, and this was causing delays in exports to different countries from Chile for their fruit, and they suffered. But here was some of the aftermath of this. The origin of the cyanide detected on March 12th remains in dispute. Nobody really knows. Like I said, the natural sugars and organic acids found in there, such as the grapes, can react and break down cyanide. So there's no way to really detect. And Chile unsuccessfully attempted to sue the U.S. for $330 million in damages, though, claiming that the delay actually constituted an unlawful non-tariff barrier to the claim that they delayed the trade. And what their whole dispute was is that the U.S. did this on purpose so that the California grape growers could get their product out.
That's some bullshit.
And then the incident reportedly affected Chile's overall reputation internationally. Some of the foreign buyers and governments increased their inspections and regulations on any produce from Chile. So they've suffered for years after this. So
some politician somewhere or some rich person had some stock in the California grape trade and was like, we got to stop these people from Chile getting their grapes here first.
It took me by surprise. When I found out yesterday, don't you know that I heard it through the grapevine? Not much longer would you be mine.
Or another country. I mean, think of another country could have done that. Like, fuck you, Chile, we hate you. We're going to tell them that your grapes are poisoned.
I didn't even know that Chile made grapes until then.
I didn't either. Yeah.
What do you got for movie news?
Movie news. Got the top 5 movies of the week for March 31st, 1989. Number 1 was Rain Man, which was released in 88, so it must have been hanging around for a while. You know what Rain Man is about. A selfish yuppie discovers that his estranged, recently deceased father has left his multi-million-dollar estate to his older brother he never knew existed, leading to a cross-country road trip Fletch Lives made $5.5 million that week. The Rescuers from 1977. The Rescuers, about two brave mice from the International Rescue Aid Society. It's a Disney movie. It must have been a re-release. Lean on Me from 1989 made $2.9 million based on a true story. A fiercely unconventional and tough-talking principal takes over a failing, crime-ridden New Jersey high school using radical discipline and fierce determination to turn the students and institution around.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong.
And then Leviathan made $2.5 million. A deep-sea mining crew station on the ocean floor makes a terrifying discovery when they scavenge a sunken Soviet wreck, inadvertently unleashing a genetic mutation that turns them into prey one by one. I think I've seen this movie.
I think it's the one with, what's his name from RoboCop?
Oh, the one that becomes RoboCop?
Yeah. Peter Weller's in this one.
That's what I thought. So, of course, horror movies released that month. Leviathan. The Terror Within released March 13th, 1989. A post-apocalyptic science fiction horror film produced by Roger Corman, focusing on human survivors in an underground laboratory fighting off violent mutated creatures known as gargoyles. I thought gargoyles were those creatures that are on the
stone.
Yeah, the stone and the cartoon. Anyway. And then released March 22nd of 1989. 976 Evil. It was directed by Robert Englund.
Yep, this is his only movie.
Huh. Well, that makes sense. Supernatural horror film follows a bully teen who calls a mysterious horror hotline that grants supernatural powers at the cost of slowly turning him into a sadistic killer. I know of that movie. I don't know that I've ever seen that movie.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's a sequel, too.
Yeah, what's that, 96?
Yeah, Evil 2, that's all they did.
What? They didn't even change the phone number?
No.
Jesus Christ.
That's actually a lot more fun than the first one.
Okay.
The first one is kind of dark with some comedy, but I feel like the sequel is kind of fun.
Part 2. They couldn't have come up with anything else? What the fuck?
No.
That's all I got for movie news.
Well, what do you got for TV news?
TV news. The top TV shows of spring 1989 based on the Nelson ratings. Cosby Show. It's not a sleeper hit of the season. Roseanne. A Different World. Cheers. And NBC's Golden Girls.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant.
And NBC is important because they're absolutely dominating the Thursday night lineup. It's must-see TV. They have Cosby Show, Different World, Cheers, and Golden Girls are all NBC. And ABC's sudden surge with breakout freshman sitcom sensation, Roseanne is slowly shifting the power. And there's some rumors about late night television as Johnny Carson's contract renegotiations are looming. And what's going to happen? Like, is Johnny going to stay around, or is there going to be new faces on late night TV?
Because who took the Late Show then? Was it Leno or was it David Letterman had the Late Show?
When Johnny Carson retired?
Yeah.
Oh, it says Leno, yeah.
Well, I see from 1993 to 2015, Late Show with David Letterman. I feel like Letterman got the official baton passed to him, and Jay was kind of hurt by that. And then he had a show after that because what was his show called?
I think it was Leno took over Carson's spot, but then
because Jay Leno had the Tonight Show.
Yeah, that's what Johnny Carson had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then it became Conan O'Brien for a very short time, and then Leno came back, and then it was Fallon. So Letterman had some form of show, but it was never the Tonight Show, I don't think. And he moved to CBS, and he launched the Late Show with David Letterman in August of 93. I think it's a win-win for all of us. Jay Leno's fine. I much preferred David Letterman over Jay Leno, and then I liked Conan even more than Jay Leno.
Conan was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Him and Letterman are kind of like in that same level for me. Maybe you like Conan a little bit more. Yeah, I don't think it ever got to be where it was Letterman took over for Carson. I know then it was a big issue at the time.
Oh, let's go to music. And number one in the U.S. was Eternal Flame by the Bangles.
Close your eyes, give me your hand, darling.
Wow.
Do you feel my heart beating?
Wow, this is getting edited.
Understand? Edited for what? To go on the radio as the new hit.
Yeah. And then to go on with what was number one in the UK on March 2nd, Like a Prayer by Madonna, that premiered on Worldwide Pepsi commercial. They've used her song for that, and that song stayed number one in the UK that whole freaking month.
Now, I sang the first song. You have to sing a couple of lines from the second song. Okay.
We're good. We don't want to hurt our audience. Number one country was Baby's Gotten Good at Goodbye by George Strait.
After she packed, when she looked back, there were no tears in her eyes. And that's got me worried, thinking maybe my baby's gotten good at goodbye.
No.
Don't know that one. I mean, I know who George Strait is, but I don't know that song.
Number one R&B, Just Coolin' by Leverett featuring Heavy D.
Don't know that one either.
I just remember Heavy D and the Boys, but that's about it. Number one alternative is Mayor of Simpleton by Ecstasy or XTC, and they must have been in Say Anything when we covered that as the alternative because they must have stayed there because I remember talking about that. Number one dance track, This Is Acid, A New Dance Craze by Maurice. What do you got for sports news, Brian?
So in sports news, the NFL offseason roster moves, draft preparations, and player holdouts lead headlines. Over 200 players switched teams in the spring, led by active franchises like the Packers. The draft that year delivered one of the greatest talent hauls in history, opening with Hall of Famers Troy Aikman, Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas, and Deion Sanders going in the top 5 picks. The only one that's not a Hall of Famer was the Packers draft pick, Tony Mandarich.
Tony who?
Exactly. You know all the other guys, right?
Oh, fuck yeah, yeah.
One of my favorite players, Derek Thomas, who sadly passed away. I can't remember if he was retired or if he was still playing, but he was on like the way to a Super Bowl party and was in a car accident and passed away. In the NBA, the stretch run of the regular season is heating up as the Pistons, Lakers, and Bulls battle for peak playoff seeding. Detroit would end up winning the championship by sweeping the Lakers 4-0 in the 1989 NBA Finals. In the NHL, the regular season is entering its final weeks with powerhouse teams locking down playoff spots. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Calgary Flames won the Stanley Cup that season. They defeated the Montreal Canadiens 4-2 in the final. That's one of the coolest times of the year. This time of year, basketball's wrapping up. The NHL's wrapping up. I think March Madness is either just finished or is wrapping up. You know, it's like deep into it. Baseball's getting ready to start. So it's a crazy time of year for sports. And then you get that kind of dead period where it's just baseball.
Yeah.
And then it, you know, kind of warms up again with preseason football and all that stuff. And the WWE champion or WWF champion at the time was the Macho Man Randy Savage. And there was a fallout from Saturday Night Main Event is setting the stage for the historic WrestleMania 5 card at Trump Plaza, focusing on the implosion of the Mega Powers.
I remember that one.
Yeah, they were fighting over Miss Elizabeth, I guess.
She got knocked over and yeah.
That's all I got for sports news. I think now that I remember, though, I think Pete Rose scandal was going on at that time, too. I don't think they charged him yet or done anything, but I think the commissioner had appointed somebody to investigate Pete Rose and his gambling scandal.
Oh, probably about that time they suspended him, I would guess, too.
Yeah, I don't know.
What do you got for toy news?
Retailers are buzzing about upcoming summer movie tie-ins, building around mid-year blockbusters like Batman. Would this have been the first Batman with Michael Keaton?
Yeah.
I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
And then, of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are gaining massive national traction. G.I. Joe and Transformers continue to dominate the voiced action toy sector. And the Nintendo Entertainment System is getting ready to launch, if I remember right. It was either just or the Game Boy.
It was earlier. The Game Boy, yeah.
Yeah, the Game Boy was getting ready to launch. Yeah, I think it was either out in Japan, was coming to America, and then in England, they had to wait like another year for it. Yeah, poor English bastards.
They had to finish their tea and crumpets before they can play.
So, yeah, pretty typical stuff. You know, it's past Christmas. It's kind of getting into summertime almost. So, not really anything too crazy going on. Yeah, I don't even know what else kids play. I mean, in 1989, we just rode bikes, and yeah, I don't even know that we had toys.
Well, our toys were wooden boards with clothespins holding rubber bands and shooting each other with it.
Oh, really? See, we played rocks versus BB guns. We only had 2 BB guns, so one team was BB guns and one team was rocks. And we took turns.
Wow, that's kind of painful.
Yeah.
Well, let's go into some births. And I got 2 celebrity births to begin with. First one, not my favorite, Jake Lloyd, American actor. He was in The Phantom Menace as Anakin, was born in Fort Collins, Colorado. That kid annoyed the fuck out of me in that movie. And my second one on March 11th, this one is kind of sad because this guy could have went far, but Anton Yelchin was born in Leningrad, Soviet Union. He was like in Star Trek. He was in the Fright Night remake. He was in several things. Odd Thomas.
Yeah, I love Odd Thomas.
When they brought that to the screen. And we sadly lost him in a car accident in 2016.
Well, not like a car accident like you think. Like the car was in park or supposed to be in park, and it rolled and crushed him against the gate. And I think it led to an investigation, and I think there was maybe a recall on that vehicle, if I remember right.
It sounds familiar. I just can't remember exactly what it was. Yeah. I almost forgot that. Yeah, it was a freak accident too. Mm-hmm. And my 2 sports births on March 16th, Blake Griffin, the basketball player, 6-time NBA All-Star, he played the Clippers, the Pistons, the Nets, the Celtics. He was born in Oklahoma City. Man, loyalty, like even now, so weird.
Well, I think he was traded.
Was he traded each time?
I don't know that he jumped. I think he was traded probably each time, or his contract ran out and he went to a different team. But
loyalty either way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a business. It's not like the teams are loyal to the players. I remember he was huge coming out of college, and then he broke his foot maybe, and they didn't know if he'd ever play again.
Oh, wow.
And I remember his card prices went from super high to like in the basement. And then he came back and was a 6-time All-Star, so card prices went up. But yeah, I remember, I think he broke his foot. And they were like, he may never play again.
Was that before he entered the NBA?
I think it was early in his rookie year, or like first year, and he just, like everything dropped. And then he went on to be a 6-time All-Star. So it was kind of that feel-good story where a guy was up high and then came crashing down and then kind of worked his way back and became a All-Star 6 times. I mean,
March 22nd, J.J. Watts, American NFL player for Houston Texans, born in, we'll just say Wisconsin, because I can never pronounce Wisconsin cities' names. So him and his brother, damn, those 2 are dominant. Like, I think his brother's still playing. Is that correct?
Yeah, T.J. Watt plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. J.J. Watt's a Hall of Famer. T.J. Watt, I would imagine, will probably be a Hall of Famer. I think they had another brother, too, that was a football player that isn't as good as them, but he made the NFL, so he's better than all of us.
90% of the U.S.
Probably 99% of the U.S.
Yeah. And now it's time, folks. Time for everyone's favorite segment, 6 Feet Under with Rod.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Maybe 6 feet is so far down.
And I've got one celebrity death It's a celebrity whose famous movie we covered a while back. It's Maurice Evans. He's a British actor. He was in Planet of the Apes. He was Dr. Zaius. He's also in the TV show Bewitched for a while. He died at 87 in Rottingham, England, from heart failure following a bronchial infection. So that kind of probably sucked to die from.
He was 87, though. I mean,
yeah, hopefully he fell asleep. And my last one is not necessarily the death that happened then, but it was a weird trial going on. On March 23rd, Joel Steinberg, he was sentenced to 25 years for killing his adopted daughter. Steinberg was a New York City lawyer and lived with his common law wife, Hedda, which over their 13-year relationship, Steinberg had repeatedly beat her and broke several of her bones, so much so that she had cauliflower ear. The thing with this one is the couple had illegally adopted a 6-year-old Lisa and a 16-month-old boy named Mitchell. Lisa was the daughter of Michelle Launders, who had paid $500 to Steinberg under the suggestion from her doctor to put Lisa into a Roman Catholic family is what she assumed was going to happen. But instead, they kept the child. And same kind of with Mitchell, with his mom was Nicole Smeagol, who at the time she was only 16 years old, and she thought that the doctor and Steinberg would put him in a good home. But of course, again, Steinberg decided to keep the kid. I didn't quite get why, but the paperwork never went through on these. So the story goes on November 1st of 1987, while under the influence of crack cocaine, Steinberg had hit Lisa on the head and left her there to go have dinner with some friends. So he knocked this little girl out, a 6-year-old girl. And even when he returned, he didn't do anything for Lisa to help her out. He just did some more drugs. It wasn't until the next morning that they called an ambulance to come get Lisa. Upon her admission to St. Vincent's Hospital, doctors found that Lisa had bleeding to the brain and bruising on her head and spine. The medical staff informed the police, and then they went to go visit Steinberg's Greenwich Village apartment. So when the cops got there to the apartment, they found trash everywhere. No working lights, found cocaine and other drugs all over the place. They also found traveler's checks and then $25,000 in cash just laying around. They suspected with all this evidence that the couple had been dealing drugs out. And then they found the 16-month baby Mitchell. He was found tied to his playpen with only a mat to sleep on. No blankets, no pillow, just a fucking mat in a playpen. And when they found Hedda, she had shown signs of physical abuse. She was admitted to a prison hospital to treat 9 broken ribs, a broken nose, and gangrene on her leg, which doctors were seriously discussing whether to cut her leg off or not. That's how bad it was. Lisa remained in the hospital for 3 days before they diagnosed her brain dead, and she died after her life support was removed. So, I mean, fucking piece of shit. Both of them. Well, it's kind of hard to say when there's one person who's being abused like Hedda. Like, was there a chance of her going to get help or what? But it's that victim kind of, what do you call that? Stockholm syndrome, or
yeah, where the victim starts to view their abuser. Oh no, they're a good person. Oh no, they're not out to hurt me. You know, like those kind of
yeah.
things.
And then the outcome of this was that because of New York laws, first-degree murder only applied to if you killed a cop or had committed murder while under serving a sentence for a previous murder. That's what I found when I was looking on like Wikipedia and stuff, and it was so fucking weird way of explaining it. So the jury was unable to convict Steinberg on the more serious charge of second-degree murder even, but it did convict him of the lesser charge of first-degree manslaughter. The judge subsequently sentenced Steinberg to the maximum penalty then available for that charge of 8 1/3 years to 25 years in state prison. So just kind of a bunch of bullshit.
That's all he got. They didn't do anything with like the drug charges or anything.
Not that I could find that, or at least with this case. I don't know if they went back and they didn't really say much more. So
yeah, he probably would have got more with the drug fucking charges than he got for murdering a little girl, beating a lady within an inch of her life, and tying a little kid up to a bed. It's just too bad that there was another segment on Faces of Death where his ass was getting his brains blown out walking through airport.
Well, there's a special place in hell for these kind of people. So
we had some problems with our recording where the Session 9 curse came back and got this podcast. But redoing this recording so much has happened since we recorded that. Originally, there's been several celebrity deaths. Hayden Panettiere today, on the day of this recording. And I've been hearing a lot about this Lindsay Clancy murder trial. Have you heard anything about this?
No.
So all the people I work with are listening to this. Today, prosecution rested its case. It stems from a January 2003 incident where this mother who had postpartum depression, was dealing with depression. Her husband left her at home for a half hour to go to work or to, I don't know what he did. He comes home. She had, air quotes, jumped out the window and broken her neck and crushed her esophagus. She couldn't talk, and she had killed her 3 kids.
This sounds familiar now. So where was this at?
Massachusetts. But I've listened to my coworkers talk for the last day about it. I said the husband did it. There's no DNA evidence on these bands that were supposedly used to choke the kids. They are all down this rabbit hole of this thing. It just is like, Lord have mercy. You feel horrible for the kids. I feel bad for her. He's remarried. He's got new kids on the way. He went on a vacation with his new girlfriend like 3 months after his kids were murdered.
Oh, fuck. Damn.
Yeah, and it's 3 years later? And he's remarried with new wife and new kids on the way and just living his best life. And she's paralyzed at a mental institution.
Damn, what a piece of shit.
Yeah, so I think he did it. But someday when we cover a movie from 2026, the news is going to be insane.
Yeah, it is. Well, I've got 2 quotes, and this kind of deals with our movie Heathers, where it's kind of teen suicide, but from Victor Hugo, who was the writer of The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Les Miserables. Even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. But my second one and last one is Oscar Wilde, the writer of The Picture of Dorian Gray and The Importance of Being Earnest. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken.
That marks the end of our broadcast day here at The Wrong Podcast Died. Our transmission is powered by a frequency of 800 watts. We will resume our usual programming in 2 weeks. Until then, we bid you good night.